Finally, Democrats are ripping Donald Trump to shreds like he deserves. Deliver that karma to him. Finally, Democrats on Capitol Hill calling Donald Trump out for his disastrous war in Iran. The MeidasTouch network, as you know, has a Washington, D.C. bureau, so we were able to speak with a lot of members of Congress. We spoke with Democratic Congress members. Hey, we even reached out to some MAGA Republican Congress members who usually respond to us by saying, I don't know what Donald Trump's saying. I didn't hear that. I didn't see that. We'll show you that in a moment. But let me show you some of these Democrats forcefully ripping Donald Trump to shreds, putting in the dagger like Donald Trump deserves. First, we have veteran Democratic Congress member Ryan from New York. Here he is calling Trump and Pete Hegseth. Their behavior is like an SNL skit, except it isn't parody because people are dying as a result of these fools. Play this clip.
How embarrassing at this point is Pete Hegseth? We've been watching some of his press conferences. The guy sounds nutty.
I mean, Hegseth has literally become more deranged than the SNL skits at this point. And it would be funny if he wasn't literally killing American soldiers. And so for him to stand up there, you see each time he screws up and we screw up and we lose Americans, he gets more desperate and he screams louder and he just shows his weakness. He is fucking pathetic at this point, and he has the blood of now 13 Americans on his hands, and he needs to be held accountable for that. I actually started a website called firehegseth.com, and everybody upset about this war should go right now and sign up for that, because we need to fire Pete Hegseth.
More from Congress member Ryan right here. Play this clip.
So, Congressman, what do you make of NATO, kind of not backing up Trump in this crazy war that we're in?
Well, this is a war that we shouldn't have started. It's a war where now 13 Americans are lost. A war where, oil prices are going up, cost of everything's going up, and the president spent years shitting all over our allies and then doesn't consult them before this war, doesn't consult the American people before this war, and now he expects them to come to our assistance. And it just shows what a failure of leadership by Trump in this matter. So
let me show you what Democratic Congresswoman Omar had to say to our crew on Capitol Hill on the steps. Shout out Pablo Manriquez for getting this interview. Play this clip.
Pathetic is Pete Hegseth at this point. We've been watching his press conferences. He's saying all these crazy things. Honestly,
I mean, what can you say? He's always been pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
It pains me as a Minnesotan that that's the person that we have in the administration, and I just hope he gets replaced because he's an embarrassment on a national and international stage for us.
More from Congresswoman Omar. Play this clip.
Any comment on NATO rejecting Donald Trump's crazy overtures to join this endless war?
Well, it was expected. This is a war that they didn't plan for. They didn't talk to our allies beforehand. And after you enter a war of choice to beg for help, it's actually pretty pathetic and embarrassing.
Then we had the opportunity to speak with Democratic Congress member Walkinshaw from Virginia. Here's what he told us. Let's play it.
How embarrassing is Pete Hegseth at this point? Like, just his press conferences have been kind of alarming.
Not just the press conferences. I see Pete Hegseth in classified briefings, and I am embarrassed for him. He can do nothing beyond read the script that's given him. He can't answer detailed questions. He doesn't understand the strategy, not that there is one. He doesn't understand the tactical or operational questions. He is in way the hell over his head.
More from Congress member Walkinshaw here. Let's play it.
What do you make of NATO not supporting, these crazy overtures from Trump?
Well, that's what happens when you don't consult with anyone. You don't try to build any kind of coalition to launch your reckless, illegal war. And look, they can recognize it's a complete disaster. Predictably, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz. We have no real way to reopen it. Gas prices are skyrocketing. It's disrupting the economy here, the economy of our allies. Nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. That's what Donald Trump has done.
Let's go back to that interview with Pablo Manriquez, our Capitol Hill reporter, on the steps of the Capitol building with Democratic Congresswoman Omar. Play this clip.
How much of a liability at this point is Israel to U.S. foreign policy, given that they were coordinating with Israel but not our NATO?
They have been a liability to us for decades, not only doing the getting us involved in Iraq war, starting the whole mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction conversation, and obviously right now with the Trump official resigning, it's pretty clear that it was Israel that really wanted this war, and it's unfortunate that American service members, our sons and daughters, are dying on behalf of Israel.
Now, remember earlier in the video where I told you the MAGAs, when we catch up with them, they're usually like, we don't know what Donald Trump said. We don't listen to anything. We don't know anything at all about anything. Well, we caught up with MAGA Republican Congress member Burchett. Pablo Manriquez said, so what do you make of Donald Trump fundraising off of the dignified transfer as American soldiers are returning from Donald Trump's disastrous war in Iran with coffins draped with the American flag? Donald Trump is wearing a campaign hat, refusing to remove said campaign hat, posing for photographs in front of coffins that have the bodies of our soldiers who were killed in the war. And then Donald Trump is using those photographs to raise money for himself. What do you make of it, Tim Burchett? Let's tell us. Here, play this clip.
Congressman, what do you make of Donald Trump using the dignified transfer to fundraise? He's sending fundraising emails about it.
I haven't seen that, so I don't know to comment on that.
All right. Back to Democratic Congressmember Walkinshaw. Here's what he had to tell our crew, the Meidas crew in the Capitol building. Let's play it.
Has Israel at this point become a liability to U.S. foreign policy?
Well, look, U.S. foreign policy needs to be based on what's in the best interests of the American people. And I have real concerns about Prime Minister Netanyahu and his relationship with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's easy to manipulate. Netanyahu's not the only foreign leader who's been able to manipulate him.
Oh, and then the rising star in the Democratic Party. She is a star. A rising star doesn't do it justice. Democratic Congresswoman Ansari. She spoke with Pablo Manriquez, and boom, mic drop. Play this clip.
How pathetic at this point is Pete Hegseth? We've been watching some of his press conferences, and it's hard not to laugh at him from behind the podium if it wasn't such a serious situation, you know?
I could not agree with you more. Pete Hegseth is a joke. Pete Hegseth was a Fox News anchor. He is completely out of his depth, arguably more than anybody else in this administration. I think he needs to be fired or impeached immediately. He is putting countless American lives in danger, and he thinks this is a video game. He literally is focused on just being this hot shot in the Department of War, and it is a matter of life or death for so many people in this country. It's unacceptable. It's disgusting.
More from Congresswoman Ansari here. Another powerful moment. Boom. Mic drop. Play this clip.
What do you make of NATO refusing to cow to Donald Trump's crazy overtures about joining this endless war?
I think Donald Trump has never presented a justification to the American people about why he has embarked upon an illegal and highly reckless war that has already resulted in thousands of civilian deaths, not just in Iran, but in Lebanon, across the region, has left Americans stranded in the Middle East with no help from the State Department. He has not ruled out troops on the ground. 5,000 American troops are on their way to the Middle East. Americans don't want their sons and daughters dying in war. And as it relates to NATO, he has consistently offended and betrayed our allies in NATO. And so the expectation that NATO would now support his reckless endeavors is unbelievable.
And then then, I mean, you saw what Donald Trump was doing all day, right? Just utterly deranged. He was attacking NATO, and he was like, we don't need you, NATO, anymore. We don't like NATO. NATO's never good to us. But if you really wanted to help us in the Strait of Hormuz, we'd really actually like your help. I mean, you all realize the oil supply shock, the worst in history right now. And I know a lot of people are paying attention to oil. We should also be talking about fertilizer and a lot of other things that need to be exported from the Middle East, which run through the Strait of Hormuz, which are effectively shut down right now. Food supply internationally getting absolutely crushed. World economic markets being rattled. Donald Trump saying earlier today he's not ruling out boots on the ground to invade the Strait of Hormuz, although apparently Trump and Lindsey Graham and Netanyahu and Mark Levin and this whole crew of, I don't even want to call them neocons, because the neocons compared to this crew were like, oh, they're neocons. I mean, this new crew is just freaking maniacal. But they're like, that's not boots on the ground when you send them to the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, it is. And by the way, did you all see just what was going on in the Middle East? More strikes against the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, more strikes by Iran of the Arab neighbors where there are American interests. I mean, things are escalating right now. They ain't getting lighter. We know that. Anyway, here's what Donald Trump was saying. I played a lot of his events today, so here's what his big focus, though, was on. With everything going on, he's like, we're going to have the Irish Open at Trump Properties, because he's standing there with basically the Prime Minister of Ireland. And Donald Trump's like, hey, look, I'm not telling you that we should definitely be getting preferential treatment for Trump golf courses, but you should give us preferential treatment. I mean, watch how pathetic this is. And by the way, this is like the Prime Minister who's there. The President of Ireland calls Donald Trump like a war criminal. She says she goes all in. Just watch what Donald Trump was saying here, though. Play this clip.
I love Ireland. In fact, we're going to have the Irish Open at a property that happens to be owned by yours truly, but I have nothing to do with it. I own it, but I don't even like to talk to my son. He says, Dad, we're doing great with I'm allowed to run it, but I don't choose to. Dad, we're doing great. Eric calls up. He's doing a good job. Do you like Eric? I think so, right? Who doesn't like Eric? But he calls up, Dad, we're doing a great job in Ireland. What's going on? Well, we're doing this and that. I said, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it. Of course, if we were treated badly, I'd let him know very quickly. But I think you are very proud of what's been done over there by the Trump organization, right?
And then Donald Trump's like, everything is going great. Everything is going beautiful right now here in Iran. Just as we expected. Here, play this clip.
I just do want to say that the war is proceeding very, very strongly. We're doing very, very well. Iran, knocking the hell out of them, and you have to do that. We can't let them have a nuclear weapon. They were 2 weeks away, in my opinion, 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. If those beautiful, magnificent machines, those B-2 bombers, if they didn't do their job 7 or 8 months ago, they would have had a nuclear weapon, and there would have been no talking to them, no talking at all.
Well, there you have it, folks. We're going to keep you posted every step of the way here on the MeidasTouch Network. And don't sleep on that really big development. I mean, this right-wing extremist who's, a big ultra MAGA guy who Donald Trump praised, Joseph Kent. He resigned from his position as the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. I mean, this guy, far extreme, right-wing nut job. He did serve 11 combat tours, which, you do have to appreciate his service, at least to our country. Although he came back and he says some of the most hateful things. His wife tragically passed away in a combat zone. He's a Gold Star husband. He's ultra MAGA. And he's saying he had to resign because he's like, I don't support this war in Iran. His resignation post so far has over 74 million views on Twitter already, which is X now. They used to call it Twitter. I mean, you're just seeing so many MAGA people saying, we're done. We're out. We are out of this Trump cult. Well, hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching, y'all.